I'm determined to return the curb appeal charm our 1930s cottage has lost over the years. On this week's agenda, custom window boxes. I spent so much time planning this transformation that I started to overthink every little detail. So I'm taking it one step at a time. We've removed the shutters, added trellises, and a lot of the design inspiration has come from prefab home magazines from the 1930s. I know I want to update the railings, columns, and gable of the front porch, but the changes we've made so far have inspired me to really lean in to the cottage aesthetic that the house naturally has. And what says cottage more than window boxes? If you're new here, I post weekly videos featuring the ongoing restoration and renovation of our 1930s cottage, and I've got lots more in store. I've struggled to find examples of window boxes that I felt like really fit my vision for the cottage. I want to add character, but I don't want the house to look like a silly caricature of a historic cottage. The trellises turned out great, and I want to make sure the window boxes look natural alongside them. I want it all to feel like it could have been original to the house. I'm not looking for perfection, but I do want things to be more balanced. It's all about adding character and architectural details without doing anything that can make it look cluttered or out of proportion. I'm sure we've all noticed it. Those houses that just look off. I feel like working my way across the house lets me stop and assess the scale and proportion of each new piece. I think that balance can really make or break a whole exterior transformation. So I thought, once the trellises are up, I'll know exactly what to do on the window boxes. But that didn't happen. I kept looking for inspiration, and I had almost given up when I stumbled across this post on Instagram. And just like that, a wave of ideas came crashing in. It was truly a light bulb moment. I remembered seeing these little benches in the Sears magazines with customizable cutouts. Known as hospitality benches, I have fallen in love with the idea. What a great way to add character that fits so well with the cottage, tie in the design of the window boxes, and replace the ugly rust-covered railings. I can't deny that I've been a little bit stumped about where we should go from here. But I've got a few priorities. I want to take some measurements, and I've got a couple ideas. There's a few main things left that are still really bothering me. The first thing is the ironwork and the porch rails. The second thing is the gable end on the front porch. I want to do like the scalloped siding on the front of the front porch, and I really would rather it not be vinyl. And from what I can find, Hardy Board has stopped making this scalloped. They make a like cedar shake look, but they've stopped making the scallop. This whole project really has thrown me for a loop. It has been something that I have procrastinated about even starting, and I'm really excited that I've even took the leap to do anything to the front. So I'm gonna take some measurements. I've got some leftover materials that I want to use that I think will be great for building the window boxes. I've got a few ideas, and I'm also going to take some measurements of the front porch, so I'm going to grab my tape measure. I keep finding pictures of built-in wing benches on each side, and I can't get that out of my head. So I think if I scooted it back a little bit and still attached it here, I would have plenty of room for a small bench, and then it would actually function as the rail itself. I just want to make sure these are the same on both sides. It would end up being about 3 foot wide. There are lots of options for things that I could cut out and patterns that I could create, but I really like the design that was on the window box that I found. So if all goes well with the window boxes, the next step will be creating the benches, changing out the columns, and using that design to tie it all together by incorporating the same cutouts on the benches. With the design now in mind, I've just got one more issue. The leftover boards that I've been planning on using for the window boxes to save money are not long enough. But I think I might have figured out a solution. By creating a solid frame on the inside, I can place 2 boards on the front, giving the illusion that each window has its own box, and I'll be able to use those boards that were too short I'm going to keep the construction of the boxes very simple, with an open bottom to place planters inside instead of planting directly in the box. I think it will help to avoid causing any rot on the house and make changing out the plants inside much easier. I'll have to work on making a stencil for this cutout, but I'm going to go ahead and get to work on the boxes. I picked up two 2x4s to build the frame at $3.52 each, and 4 shelf brackets to add support. They'll be hidden inside the box so they don't have to be cute. Those were $3.98 each, so a total of $20 spent at Lowe's. I'm using screws that I already had, and of course the boards that are going on the front have been sitting in our shop from a closet I took apart several years ago. I'm really excited to finally get to use them. I want to show you the process of building the window boxes, but I don't want to bore you with all the details. I feel like window boxes are going to be different for every house because window sizes vary so much and construction does as well. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I spent $20 this morning at Harbor Freight where I picked up a pack of new blades for the saw, a 6-inch paint roller, and some paint trays. Last night, I got my stencil made to do the cutouts. I used Canva to create the pattern, and then I used the screen of my iPad with a piece of parchment paper to trace it out. It did take me a while to get it how I wanted and dial it in. I had trouble finding the right shape. I'm actually going to link the stencil below. It's just a free PDF download. If it doesn't work, let me know. I can't make any promises because I've never done that before, but I thought after I spent so much time making it, it might be nice if it was useful to someone besides me. I'm going to be using a jigsaw to cut these out. This is seriously the part that I'm most nervous about. I have never cut out anything this small before, and I really want it to look nice. I did use some wood clamps just to secure this while I was making my cuts. Safety first. It's super weird, but I swear the small ones are easier than the big ones. I love the Benjamin Moore Element Guard paints. I love the low luster finish. This paint covers so well. I really wanted to do these cutouts, and even though they're not perfect, they really give like a, I don't want to sound like cheesy, but like they look like they're custom, and I'm okay with them having a little bit of variability. That being said though, I got way better at the jigsaw by the end. That side looks way better than this side. I've figured out some little tricks and things to make it easier for me. I'm gonna trim these out so it looks like 2 boxes. I decided that I want to go ahead and make the other box. I just want to keep the momentum going, and I've been running errands. I had to do some stuff. It's so hard to keep up with everything and not run out of time. So I'm gonna get to work on the second box. The pollen has got my nose running. And I feel like it's making me breathe through my mouth. I keep noticing that I'm holding my mouth open, and I'm not very self-conscious of much, but I'm sorry for sitting here mouth breathing. I don't know why. I don't normally have really bad spring allergies, but it's been this way for like a week and a half, I guess. So I'm gonna use some scraps just to kind of mock up the size of the trim that I want to get. Something that's gonna make it look a little bit neater, and I want to give it the appearance of 2 boxes. I think I've said that a few times now, but it's turned out really well. I held the first one I finished up to the window a little bit ago, and really happy with my measurements. And I've decided that I'm going to call the little imperfections endearing. I'm super happy with where I am right now. I've got to stop though and run to Lowe's and get some trim. So I'm gonna leave this here, let it dry, and I'll check back with you guys in a little bit. If you notice my eyes look weird, the pollen has got me like, I feel like I'm crying. I picked up 7 pieces of 3-inch wide trim at Lowe's. They were $2.81 a piece. Since the boxes are exactly 6 feet long, it saved me quite a bit of money to be able to buy 6-foot pieces instead of 8-foot pieces. It's getting so dark. I'm about to be done anyways for the night. I am worn out, so I'm gonna wrap it up for the day, and I think everything's starting to take a little bit longer because I'm tired and I can't see, and I need to clean up my mess and regroup, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Today I'm back, this time with Luke to help. We're gonna finish up the rest of the trim and paint on the boxes and get them hung. Just making sure I wasn't missing the forest for the trees or whatever. That's that side. Carry on. Jolly good. One more and I have all the shutters and nowhere to go. All shuttered up and nowhere to go. Makes me shudder. I'm glad when we get all this mess cleaned up out here. I made the mess because I'm making stuff pretty, but still detracts from the cuteness when everything's all gritty. Gorgeous. You're beautiful. Good old James Blunt. I do want to make sure that we don't foul the storm windows so we can still take them on and off. As we finish these up, my wheels are already turning about the benches and columns up front. I haven't completely decided if I want to build the bench myself or try to find something like a church pew that might work. We're going to get the boxes installed today, but tomorrow we've got to go to Nashville anyways to run some errands, and we're thinking about checking out a couple antique stores and maybe an architectural salvage store. I could always add the cutouts, even to something that was already pre-made. That's gonna be so cute. You can see I went with a couple of mixed baskets and broke them up. I did the math and it was way cheaper and I got bigger plants. Everything else I bought was on clearance. I'm just using some old nursery pots that I have, and I'm making sure everything is going in a larger container so it has plenty of room to grow. Most projects shock you by costing way more than you expect, but this project actually wasn't that bad, but it was deceivingly difficult. It's definitely worth it, and I'm not saying I regret doing it at all. The impact is huge. I'm just saying it was a little bit harder than I expected. And hanging the boxes is taking up a significant amount of time. The house isn't perfectly level, so it makes things a little bit harder, but that's just part of it. If I could say one thing about working on this cottage, it's that it's showing me every day the beauty in imperfections. They should last several years, but realistically, I know that these boxes will not last forever, and that's okay. They're custom pieces that I can make again, and for now, I'm gonna really enjoy them. We're adding expanded metal to the bottom of the boxes so they'll hold pots, and then lining that with coconut fiber liners. The boxes themselves look awesome, but the plants, that's what makes it pop. I love white flowers in a garden, but I knew I wanted these window boxes to scream cottage garden, so it was time to add some color. I played around with a few different layouts, but I like it best when it really looks like two separate boxes. There are lots of things inside the house that we need to address, but I'm so glad the curb appeal is the first thing we've tackled on the outside. I'm so incredibly proud of how this is turning out. It makes me feel even more motivated. I hate to say this because I really love how they look, but it just makes the railings look worse. Hopefully tomorrow we can find something on our trip to Nashville. I'm also hoping to visit some nurseries where I can search for an evergreen or some type of topiary to plant in the corners by the porch. In a world where we constantly throw away things just for something better and new and fresh, it's nice to have something old, something handmade, something to really cherish. I love searching for antiques, and while we didn't find anything to use for the benches, I'd still call this trip a success because I saw lots of things that inspired me, and it made me realize that I kind of want to build the benches. I want to see what I can do. So I guess it's time to make a plan and get back to work.